Will a rebuilt title Tesla still supercharge, or will they get blacklisted? This is a question that I get asked very often, especially after we finished this vehicle. 6 months ago when I bought it, it did supercharge. After we fixed it up a little bit and got it moving on its own power, we supercharged all the way for free with no problem. But things have changed since then. So in this video, we're gonna find out if my Tesla will indeed supercharge. I haven't tried this just yet. Not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous because without supercharging, I really can't take this thing on any kind of long distance road trip. So we have a blue light, that's good. Starting to charge, okay, that's really good. It says charging will start momentarily. You're gonna see a 12-volt battery light. It's gonna say it needs to be replaced. That will not stop supercharging. It said that back when we were able to, no. Unable to DC fast charge supercharge. Disconnect and retry. Okay, so that light doesn't matter. They were on back order forever. I finally got a new one I have to install. Wait a minute, it said something else. Supercharging not available. Wow, supercharging not available. It has been blacklisted. No. Oh man. I mean, I thought this could happen. I was warned. Rich and I talked about this when I first bought this car. He actually helped us put it together. It's just one of those things you never think is actually going to happen, but it has. Rich has been blocked. I have been blocked. I've been getting emails from others that are now blocked. So no supercharging on my car any longer, but there's a lot more to this. So in this video, Rich and I are going to discuss everything you must know before even thinking about buying a salvage or rebuilt title Tesla. So of course I had to get Rich Rebuilds involved, my good friend, and we are gonna give you the skinny on buying a salvage rebuilt title Tesla. This is gonna be everything you need to know before doing this, because I get a lot of emails, I'm sure you do too. Oh yeah. After buying this car for 25 grand, you're gonna have your dream Tesla for like 60% off. Yay.
Awesome, yeah.
And you could, but there are limitations. You're gonna be restricted. So let's talk about that. What would be the first thing you would tell someone as a warning before buying one of these salvage cars?
I gotta say, like, just go into it with realistic expectations. Because when you buy your car for a decent price, there's usually a catch. Right. And before, a lot of the salvage and rebuilt owners we were kind of striking out saying, this is awesome, like we got a great deal, great price on a great car, because we were to get in lower than everyone else. But in addition to that, we also got supercharging. Yes. And supercharging, as you all know, that's the ability for the Tesla to drive long distances. You could top off really quick and move to your next destination. And that was a huge selling point, because effectively you'd have free gas for life in the car. Like if you had free supercharging, let's just say you pay, 10, 15 grand, 20 grand for a salvage Tesla, you fix it, and then you have literally free gas for life for that vehicle. Yeah. You could technically go to any supercharger you want. You could plug in, top off, and then continue your destination, for the life of the car. And then shortly after that, to give you some back history, Tesla said, hey, you know what? We're going to go ahead and disable supercharging on these salvage vehicles in the effect for safety. They would say, hey, listen, if this car was improperly repaired, then they'd want to disable supercharging so that in the case that something were to go wrong with the car, it doesn't blow up their network and then make Tesla look bad. So after that, you could bring in your car and you could say to yourself, hey, you know what, I'm going to bring in this car to Tesla to get the car inspected, almost like a salvage inspection, to make sure that the car is still roadworthy and safe to enable that supercharging. And that was great for a while. Tesla was charging anywhere from, like, let's just say $1,000 to $6,000 or $7,000. Who really knew? Because depending on the severity of the issue, what the car actually went through. And when I called a few dealerships, they kind of didn't even know. No. They were like, we don't know what to charge you. We got to get back to you. They never did. It didn't seem like they were very interested. It's not really consistent. Right. And it's such a very small percentage of vehicles. They're not really putting much thought into it. They don't really care that much. They don't care. And then, so you could actually pay a fee, get your car reinstated, and you're good to go. And even if that fee was, let's just say on the high end, $5 grand, if you got your car for low enough, the supercharging, if you keep your car long, it's still fine. Right. So what happens now, as of a month ago, Tesla says no supercharging, you can't get it back. And that came out in one of their, I guess you could say, one of their Tesla monthly updates to say, hey, we changed some policies, check this out. And it was an internal memo, and they said, hey, when a salvage car comes in, after the salvage inspection, which they'll still do, they'll still happily take your money.
Yes.
But they will not, supercharging is no longer on the table.
Now, will they give you your warranty back if you pay for this inspection on the battery and on all that stuff, if you pass, obviously?
I think all they give you is the ability to buy parts. I don't think they actually give you...
So no one's ever going to do this.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's very, very inconsistent across the board. No one really knows what you could do, when you can do it, and it depends on who you call.
So I like to look at the bright side. This could change. Like, things can always change. So something that I learned recently was that they were shutting down the updates for everybody as well.
Right.
And they changed that. So now you can get updates. I've gotten updates. I went to the Tesla dealer and they said, no, you're approved. Your VIN hasn't been blocked from updates, but it's clearly flagged for no supercharging.
Right.
And what was funny is I pulled into the Tesla dealer to get an alignment, just a normal alignment, doesn't require the VIN number. And when I pulled in, I text my friend, and hey, I'm here. Yeah, we know you're here. You pinged on our computer as a rebuilt or salvage title Tesla has just pulled into the dealership. So the car is very, very connected.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a little freaky. So basically, guys, supercharging is gone. You got to just realize that right away. If that's important to you guys, it's gone. 95% of my commute is well within the 250 miles of my battery pack. Right. But I know that I can't really take any kind of road trip, basically. It's not realistic.
And it's really a shame. And, it makes me wonder, I have a video coming out soon, how to live your life not having supercharging.
Yeah.
Because, as you and I we both drive, people commute, you have a job, and like I have to run back and forth for parts. Not having that supercharging ability in the Northeast where we live, just because your car says 250 miles of range, you really have it could be 100 and change in some cases.
It's ridiculous.
That range anxiety, that range loss is real in the wintertime. So I have to think to myself, if I'm on a road trip and it's cold outside, and I don't have supercharging, I'm extremely limited.
Yeah.
So the idea is, now what do I do? Do I keep the car? Do I move forward and purchase another Tesla? Like, how does this work? Like, am I better off getting a gas-powered car?
Exactly. If you were able to live with a non-Tesla EV, like a Bolt or something like that, you'd probably be okay. You just have to understand your commute. But that's something really important that people don't realize as well, just with any Tesla, is what it says on the cluster as far as your range. Like, mine's an 85, it gets like 250 max. In the winter is 40% lower from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And what I don't like is, for example, on my Chevy Volt, it would know that it's wintertime. It would see your driving habits and how much energy it's using, and it would adjust that. So your range on your cluster would be like, the max would be 40, but in the winter it would say 30.
Right.
The Tesla does not do that, and I think it's perception. If they sold someone this $100,000 car that's supposed to be at 250, if it doesn't say 250, people are going to get mad.
Right.
So even though, and then you drive a half mile and you see 1 mile go away on there, that's okay.
Yeah,
but
right.
It's ridiculous. And if you go into the main screen, you can pick. You can see what the projection is going to be.
Or like ideal versus
and
range,
then one of those is more realistic, and it's 100 miles less in my case. So anyway, I guess that's not salvage specific, but yeah. So you're going to get the updates as of right now. I have not been blocked out of Autopilot 1. I don't think they even care about Autopilot 1 at this point.
I don't think they do.
And we don't know if they're blocking. Like, if you had a salvage car that had full self-driving, I would say it's gone.
Yeah, because they have the power to do that.
Right.
They could say, hey, I don't recall you paying for this service.
Exactly.
And they could do that.
They're doing that with non-salvage cars.
And that usually happens when the car makes it back into Tesla's hands. They could say, well, we're refurbishing this car for sale.
Yeah.
It could either have autopilot or it might not have autopilot anymore. They have that power to do that.
Right. Okay. So what other Tesla-specific features are not available once you buy a salvage rebuilt title?
Those are the two major ones. I think the ability to buy parts is big.
Right.
Buying parts is huge.
A key. Could you get a key for a salvage title?
They've been doing that.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
They've been doing that.
That's nice.
They've been giving very, very nice gesture of them. They've been doing keys, and then the ability to buy parts, but you have to understand that not everyone that owns a Tesla wants to buy parts.
Right.
They just want to go get it fixed.
Yes.
Like, I don't care, just fix it.
Yes.
Like, not everyone's a tinkerer.
Yeah, we got to take ourselves out of that equation. Like, I'm like, oh, if I can get parts, great. But yeah, some people don't. That doesn't matter.
And I have to understand that a lot of commenters were saying that, hey, listen, we can't really relate to this because this is such a small market that not everyone is building their own Teslas.
Right.
Not everyone's really into that. They just want to, dare I say, a lot of Tesla owners, believe it or not, they're not car enthusiasts.
No, not at all.
And I'm realizing this too. It's great that Tesla has a performance models because they want something that's a little bit faster.
Right.
But in terms of, building their own cars, modifying them, quicker acceleration, they may have come from other sports-oriented cars, like maybe like a BMWs, M5s, M3s, but a lot of them don't work on their own cars, and a lot of them are very, environmentally friendly and conscious to the fact that they want smaller wheels, or they want those moonbeams
right.
that go on their wheels so they get better range. Like that's a big thing with the shop, is that people say to themselves, why am I doing this? Because that's going to affect my range.
Right.
That's going to affect my range.
Right.
And not many car people are like that.
Yeah.
Like me, I want 21s. I have 21 wheels for winter tires.
I bought the ones from you, and I don't care if I just blew one out on a pothole, or
they look great.
They look good. But
if I lose 20 miles of range, hey, so be it.
When I put those wheels in the video, I had some Tesla commenters like, you get worse range. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and that's a weird thing. Like when do you ever hear the BMW performance guys saying, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose 2 miles a gallon.
Right. No one cares. No one cares.
Like, hey, I have a lifted truck and I have big, 37s on it. Hey, I'm going to get 4 miles a gallon.
Right.
They don't know. They're enthusiastic about it.
So we've already been questioning if the car is yours when it's a normal, clean title. You've talked about in your videos where, is this car really yours? I mean, Tesla can literally press a button and you lose features. They can turn off features you've paid for.
Right.
It's a little weird. It's almost like you never fully own the car. And when you buy a salvage rebuilt title car, it's that times 2. You basically have no rights as far as Tesla's concerned.
So weird.
It's a little weird.
Right? It's like a modern. It's such a modern thing to think about, that back in the day you could drive whatever car you want, do whatever you want, and then it's just like, well, no, we could control stuff now. It's so
like buying this AMG. Trade it in. We're gonna put a 6-cylinder in until someone pays again for the AMG package.
Pushing a button.
So I don't like it. Obviously I don't like it, but so guys, if you're looking to buy a rebuilt salvage title Tesla, just understand supercharging is gone as of right now.
Right.
You still get your updates as of right now. Your warranty is fully void, but that goes. That's with every car.
Yeah, that's with every car.
So whatever. But it's more important on the Tesla though, because you lose that battery warranty, which can be important.
And then the other piece of advice I give you is that when you have a problem, there's a big level of inconsistency within Tesla.
Right.
So if you call one service center, you might get a completely different answer than calling another one.
Yeah.
That's another big one too. Like, hey, can you sell me parts? No. Sell me parts? No. Sell me parts? Yes. Like, oh my God, I got someone that can sell me parts.
Right.
So that's a very big thing to note as well. It's not the same across the board yet.
Yeah. So I want you guys to know the real deal. Just us making a video like this literally devalues our own car.
Yeah.
It's probably cost us doing this little talk.
Seriously,
but
yeah.
You guys need to understand that buying one of these cars is kind of a gamble, especially now that Elon has people that are looking online through the salvage auctions, Carfax, looking for wrecked Teslas to flag. And it's not hard to do it. They can shut a lot of stuff down on the car, and you're just very limited. So I still love my car. I'm going to use it. It fits my lifestyle perfectly.
Right.
But it is quite limited. It is quite devalued at this point, to be honest with you. And it's kind of a shame. So we will keep all of you guys updated as more news comes out. Hopefully we can one day supercharge again.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Fingers crossed, man.
Anyway, I hope this helps all of you guys out there. And if you have any questions, of course, at LegitStreetCars at gmail.com. So anyway, Rich, as always, thank you very much, sir. Let's go take this gasser out for a cruise.
Let's do it. Sell those fumes.